to compare Snyder's Superman and James Gunn's Superman, the more I've thought about it, it's like comparing Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man.
Mm.
More, well, not even like in the sense of like Spider-Man and Superman, but more in the sense of like all the other characters and how they write, or how the storytelling and world building is done in both. Because I feel like in both, in like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and in David Corenswet's Superman, sorry, I keep switching like actors and directors, but anyway, it's a very like fantastical world in both.
Mm-hmm.
It's meant to be more like fantasy instead of like a real world type of story. And like the side characters are all fairly flat characters, I think is the term I'm looking for. As in there's not much, they don't have many layers to them. They're all fairly one note, and that's not, I mean, your side characters don't really always have to be have all go through their own character arcs and everything. They can just be kind of one note in that sense. Like, you know, when talking about Spider-Man, you've got like Aunt May, who's just like this saint of an old woman. You've got Flash Thompson, who's just the bully the whole time, and yeah, you know, you've got Ditkovich, you know, the landlord, who's just all same character throughout the whole thing. J. Jonah Jameson, all these characters are fairly one note, don't change much. But like yet in like the Amazing Spider-Man movies, you see Aunt May, Flash Thompson, those two especially are way more complicated of characters than you see in the than in the Maguire movies. And I think that's because it's just two different forms of storytelling. And neither one is bad, neither one is good. And I think that's kind of the difference we see between like the James Gunn Super movie and like Snyder's, is that like Superman, I mean, even though, interestingly enough, I just saw this reel talking about how like a lot of people are complaining that you don't see Superman really have any growth or change in any way throughout the movie of Superman. But the guy in this reel was talking about, you know, like there's a rule in storytelling. If your character doesn't change, it needs to change the world. And I feel like that's more what we see in Superman instead of, you know, him changing as a character.
Yeah.
It's more him staying true to what he believes. But
there's also, I would argue there's some growth in him coming to terms with
Who
the
he is.
reality of
Yeah,
what his
that's
parents
fair.
actually sent him to do.
and him choosing kind of what his adopted parents chosen or raised him to be, rather than what his birth parents chose him to be.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know, the characters in James Gunn Superman, they're all fairly one note still, even though they kind of, their public reception, I guess, of Superman changes by the end. I mean, you know, Justice Gang, you know, Guy Gardner's fairly one note character. He's like the jerk. You've got Mr. Terrific, who's just kind of the tech guy. I don't know what to say for Haku. How would you describe? She's just kind of the.
I don't know what she does. I don't know what she adds. I think
Really?
they needed a third character. What did she do?
Good question. She was cool. She was cool, but I don't think she added much.
I think if you had to start slicing characters, she would be among the first, as well as, in my opinion, some of the Daily Planet characters, like
Lombard and Grant.
Yeah, just having them be in the pod when Lois is flying just feels so cramped. It gives for a few laughs, but they didn't need to be there at all.
Oh, before we get too far,
Pause. I'm gonna check recording. We're good.
We haven't really said anything yet.
Wait! Don't sit down. It's called movie magic. Then they won't know that I didn't.
Oh, right.
Then they won't know I got up.
Anyway, before we get...
I don't think you can hear that.
Anyway. It's just like howling behind us. It's okay.
Yeah,
I think it was a dog.
I hope so. I hope it was a dog.
Anyway, before we get much farther, I haven't really said anything yet, but there will be spoilers here. So
Yep.
basically, go
okay.
watch Superman before you continue this episode. There's not really going to be it's going to be like most of the episode is going to be Superman.
Most of the episode is going to be Superman. I'm going to put a timestamp right here, because
I don't think
there will be a part at the end where we're talking about what we know about DC, and you might want to still listen to that. But you should also go watch Superman.
I mean, either way, you should do it after watching Superman, I would argue.
Don't forget about listening to this episode.
Yes.
Just do it
Come back
later.
after watching Superman. We're just going to cross out that timestamp. We're just going to say, come back after watching
You
Superman.
never saw it.
It was never there.
It's a picture of a dog now.
Crypto is just right there. Anyway, yeah, but just as I was saying, you know, in terms of the characters, they're more one note, while Gunn was more for like complicated and layered characters. But did I say Gunn or Snyder? I meant Snyder wanted all these characters to be layered and complex, which could have worked. It could have worked. And I feel like in Superman and Lois, the characters are complex like that and it works. But Snyder was just too pessimistic and depressing with all of his characters practically, that it's just like, I mean, what's up with Pa Kent?
I saw a meme that said, no, my invincible and superpowered son, don't try and save me.
Yeah, it's like...
You can't stand this tornado.
And then there's the part where, you know, you've seen Man of Steel?
Yeah.
It's probably been a long time. But,
Yeah.
you know, he saves the bus as a child, right?
Yep.
Remember that part?
Mm-hmm.
And then when he's talking to the stat leader later, he's like, was I supposed to let all of them die? And then Pa Kent says, maybe. I'm like, what?
No, I mean...
Maybe? Let the bus of kids die?
You're right. That's very dramatic for Pa Kent of all people. His point, I believe, was to try and keep Clark's powers secret.
It was.
He saw that as more valuable. And it's not like...
than the lives of multiple children.
That's true. I'm not saying I agree with Pa Kent. I'm just saying it's not completely unfounded that he said that.
Like,
He loved Clark a lot, and he wanted him to not have to use his powers when he could. So it's like the trolley problem of like, if he hadn't done anything, would he have really killed those kids versus what? Am I wrong?
I don't know. I think it's worse if they would have let him just die.
But it could have, I don't remember if it played out like this. Maybe it could have led to something similar that we saw in Superman movie where he's like, but they were going to die. I had to do something.
Yeah.
The justice part of Superman, of like, I don't think it's just for them to have to suffer a crash and die. That might be a twisting of justice for his definition.
Instead, they just end up like gaslighting everyone afterwards, practically.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, your kid didn't know what they saw. That's not what happened. It's like, okay.
Sure.
It's actually so... In almost any depiction of Superman, there's so much gaslighting that happens. Dude, if you want... Smallville, basically gaslighting the show.
Yeah.
There's... This just came up on my Facebook recently. But there's this scene where Lois is dangling from the top of the Daily Planet while Superman's on the roof trying to reach her. And there's, you know, a bunch of people below. And Lois is like, I know you can't save me, Clark, because she suspects who he is at this point. And Clark, while Lois is dangling for her life, is just like, Lois, you don't know what you're talking about. I mean, Smallville's great, but there's some scenes like that where I'm like, what's going on right now? It's not really the time to be gaslighting.
Somebody in our Discord brought up the Forget Me Kiss, where he just
I gotta watch Superman 2. I haven't seen that one.
because that's a power he has. Wasn't that developed before Frost Breath or Laser Eyes? One of the two.
Probably.
I think so. Yeah.
You know, Superman 2 is also one where he like throws the emblem off his chest.
I
Have
think
you ever heard about that?
I don't think. So. Yeah, I think I heard something about it. But yeah, that's.
It's
funny.
like it's weird because it's like it's still on his chest, but there's this thing that like it grows and it's like just a giant Superman
Oh no, I do remember
net
that.
that basically
Yeah.
falls on like General Zod and his henchmen or whatever. So.
Yeah, I think the other. I was thinking initially about the Phantom Zone. That's just a square of
Yeah.
flat nothingness.
It's funny because like Smallville does the Phantom Zone like the same way.
That's funny.
It's just like a rotating
yeah.
two-dimensional shape. But
Okay.
anyway,
Summarize your comparison thoughts. And we'll talk about the movie.
it's two different elements or two different ways of telling stories. One's more fantasy and where like the characters don't need to be believable and you're kind of like meant to suspend your disbelief to enjoy the story.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
But yet, and the other side's more grounded.
but you can do grounded well or poorly.
Yes. I mean, you can do other side well or poorly. I mean, if you
Yeah.
have to suspend your disbelief too much, it's not, it's just weird.
You need to have
But-
a Superman symbol. You can
Yeah.
frisbee at someone.
See, that might be too much. Or the forget me kiss, I'd argue, almost might also be too much. Just adding.
That'd be
I
very
could go on-
powerful if he leaned into his parents' desire for him to have a harem and
Dude, I did not expect to hear the word harem that many times in a Superman movie.
it's true.
I'm just like, it's not a layer I was expecting to happen in that movie.